Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Show. I'm your host, Hannah Mary, and I'm so glad to be here with you, my friends, today. I am a homeschool guru and mommy motivator, wife, daughter, sister to 4, and mama to 3. I help women succeed at their most meaningful job, motherhood. I believe you can have joy, clarity, and purpose in your home and schedule, that you have the capacity to raise your children like no one else. Let's make our motherhood a little more meaningful today. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, where you are at and when you are listening to this. It is getting so close to Thanksgiving time, and this is my favorite time of year to plan and talk about thankfulness in our home. And yes, I am that cheesy mom who takes full advantage of the holidays and themes in the year to teach and create in our home. This show is definitely for every mom. I don't care if you homeschool or not. This show is all about creating more thankfulness in our kids. I want to talk about 5 ways that we can do that. So, number 1 is creating a culture that kills entitlement. So when we're killing entitlement, I mean we're killing those moments of I deserve X, whether that be in word or attitude. Ultimately, none of us really deserve any of the good stuff we get in life. I think it's important that I give my children perspective, that I remind them that hard work is good, but ultimately we don't deserve anything. Ultimately, we deserve nothing. Here's some ways that we do this in our home. So the first way that we kill entitlement in our home is we do not buy a lot of new stuff, like ever. Our kids get new stuff like at the holidays, and even then, we only buy stuff that our kids really truly need or that we really truly want to give them. My love language is gifts, and so for me, gift giving is important. And so when I see a gift, then I give it. But I also don't give it thinking that my child deserves it. I give it out of the goodness of my heart. Another way that we kill entitlement in our home is by giving our children chores. I want them to realize that they also are part of this family and that they have responsibilities that they should be taking in hand. Responsibility is very important to creating a meaningful life, and so I want them to not just think that they get everything handed to them on a silver platter, but that they actually have to work for some things. Entitlement is an attitude. It is a heart issue. Ultimately, it is pride. And so what do we do with pride? We humble it. One of my favorite ways to bring humility and correction into the heart of a child is to have them write sentences. Oftentimes, for us, that's a scripture because the scripture is wise and we are Christians, so that just makes sense. But you can have them write whatever you would want them to. I think that is a great way to bring humility and to put something into them while bringing humility. It is a correction that is used not very frequently in our modern world, but one that is highly, highly effective and one that breeds the benefit of putting something new into the place of the thing that was not good. Number 2, we train our kids to say thank you. I think this is huge. If there is ever, and I mean ever, an opportunity to say thank you, write a thank you card, we are on it, or at least try to be on it right away with our kids. I think saying thank you, acknowledging that something you got, something you did, someone who came around to your birthday to just say hi, to just be a friend, that acknowledging and being grateful for that, whether the heart is truly grateful at that moment or they're just going through the motion of saying thank you, I believe that we are pointing them in the right direction and that we are pointing them to a life of gratitude, and we are teaching them that saying thank you is important, that expressing gratitude is a way to acknowledge the things in your life that you are thankful for. I do this in my own life. I work very hard to write thank you notes and write thank you text messages and all the things to people whenever I get an opportunity. Whenever there is an opportunity to say thank you, I say it, or at least I try to. I love to keep a big box of thank you notes on hand. There are really cute, basic, just colored note cards that Hallmark has in like a big pack that you can get. And I like to keep something like that on hand for the kids so that we can write thank you notes whenever we need to. And we are very quick to have them say thank you for anything and everything. If something transfers into their possession for any reason, they need to be saying thank you. And we enforce that at home with each other. So we will make them say thank you to their sibling if that needs to be said. If there is a case where they can say thank you, we start at home. You can't just enforce saying thank you with other people and not at home, because it won't really be in their heart unless they're doing it with those that are closest to them. So we enforce that at home very heavily as well. And we also enforce having a good attitude while saying thank you at home, because sometimes they are children and they don't want to be cordial and nice. And that is one way that we help them.
I'm here to give you the best news of your entire year. The doors to my signature course, How the Heck to Homeschool, just opened. This course is jam-packed with the 4 pillars of what you need to homeschool successfully, how to have a homeschool mindset, the answers to all of your frequently asked questions and objections, how to do it legally and correctly for you in your state, and how to build your homeschool for your family from the ground up, perfectly aligned with your values, your vision, and the education your children need. The doors are open, but they won't be for long. Head to howthehacktohomeschool.online today to sign up. This course will change your life in the best way possible.
Third way that I think we need to teach our children thankfulness is by teaching them to give. Recently, my 5-year-old, Aiden, he decided he was done with this big, giant, stuffed Spider-Man toy that he's had for forever. And he gave it to a friend of ours. And it was just so random and sweet that he was like, yeah, I'm done with this. Here you go. But that's because we've talked about the fact that when we get rid of toys, we're going to give them, and we donate toys when we get rid of them. We're going to give them to someone else who can use them. So teaching our kids to give, whether that be of their things, of their time, teaching them that we serve others by taking them to serve at a soup kitchen or serve with you at church or whatever service project you can do. Teaching them to give of their resources. What is a talent they have that they could use to create money to give to that thing they want to give to? Teaching them these things breeds thankfulness. It breeds gratitude inside of them because they realize all of that behind the scenes stuff that goes into making things happen and how people need other people, how we're designed to be in community. Number 4 is expand their view of the world. We talk regularly with our kids about other people in other places and the very real circumstances that they live in. There is that wonderful line when your children aren't eating that you say to them, right? Eat your dinner. They're starving children in Africa. And I'm totally guilty of saying that. It's just one of those things that you throw out there. But I definitely try my hardest to give our kids a real picture of the real world that is really hurting and that is so much less well off than we are here in the United States. I believe that this country is the greatest country in the world, and not only that, but the numbers back that up. We are among the richest people in the world, even on the lower side of the income spectrum, because we live here. We have the greatest opportunity to move forward and upward in our finances because we live here. And there are people in other countries that don't have that. And when that's the pool you're swimming in, right? When you are so used to just being where you're at, you don't always remember that other people don't live in those same circumstances. It is my heart's desire, my goal to one day take our kids on mission trips just so they can see the outside world. So they can see what other people live like, what other people look like. I think that's really important. So in any way that you can expand their view of the world, do that. Take out a map, point out a country, look it up on Operation World. It's a great site. It's a Christian site. They have put together information on all these countries, and they talk about the poverty level. They talk about the major diseases that face those countries. They talk about all the trials and troubles of those countries, and they, of course, direct it at now pray for that country because they are a Christian organization, but still the information is good even if you don't believe in prayer. So I highly recommend them. I will link that in the show notes. I also love watching documentary style things on various countries at various time periods, honestly, because a lot of history affects the world and how we live in it now. So I think it's important to understand that aspect as well. We do a lot of talking about world history in our house, and we do a lot of talking about other places and other people because I want to give my kids perspective, and I think that expanding their worldview is one of the best ways to create thankfulness in their hearts. Number 5 is doing actual thankfulness prompts. Okay, this is what we do in the month of November. All 30 days, we have a bag that has thankfulness prompts in it. PROMPTS, prompts. And we pull one out every day. And I found this to be the most satisfying and helpful. When we started doing thankfulness every day of November, when my husband and I first got married with our daughter, it was kind of fun because she was little and she would just say random things. But then as she got older and we added another child, saying, "What are you thankful for today?" resulted in answers like this. "What are you thankful for today?" "This cereal I'm eating." "What are you thankful for today?" "That book over there." There was no heartfelt anything in these answers. So I was like, fine, I'll make you work for it. So I created some thankfulness prompts, and I will link a free download of those for you in the show notes so you can use them too. I created them so that we had direction. So now each day we pull out a prompt instead of just saying, "What are you thankful for?" Some of them are pretty generic. Things like, "I'm thankful for something that is yellow," and then they can name a yellow thing. Some of them are more specific. "I am thankful for a song that I love," or "I am thankful for someone who sharpens me," aka I don't always get along with them. There's also ones that like have the 5 senses. I'm thankful for something I see. I'm thankful for something I can hear. I'm thankful for something I can touch. The things that we take for granted. So those prompts that I've created for our family will be a free download in the show notes for you to use this season as you need them. I hope that this time together has been really useful for you guys, and I hope that I've given some really good practical things you can do to start breeding more thankfulness in your family. I think this is one area where our culture just is not up to par. We are so entitled. We are so very quick to talk about what we deserve. That word is in every other sentence of every ad on the planet. It's in all the self-help books that you can get. You know, you deserve this, you deserve that. No, it's time that we start being more thankful for what we already have, to practice contentment and gratefulness. And what better time is there than right now when you're leading up to the time of Thanksgiving? We're going to gather with friends and family. I think this is a perfect time to get real with yourself and your kids and say, we are going to be grateful for the place we live, for the people we have, for the things we have been provided, and for the life that we are so blessed to live on this planet. I think this is just the perfect time to grow some thankfulness. I hope this episode has been helpful for you so that you can start in on some action steps off of this podcast. I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening today. I hope you found a little encouragement from today's topic. If you like this podcast, make sure to like and subscribe to it. If you absolutely loved this episode, leave a review. I love reading what you guys have to say about the show. I appreciate your support so much. You can find more from me at foreverkindredspirits.com, including the show notes from this episode, free downloads, and online courses. If you want to join the conversation, you can find the Kindred Spirits Show Facebook group in the show notes for this episode. I will see you next week. I'm always rooting for you.